Katsuyuk is off to an electrifying start, taking the lead right out of the gate. Lacroix 1980 and the man aren't far behind, battling closely for that second spot. Meanwhile, Rizaldi Adaha is keeping up the pace but needs to find a way to break into that top 3. Let's see how this develops. Lacroix 1980 has moved up to challenge Rizaldi Adha for P2, with some close racing dynamics being observed between them. Captain Potato is currently locked in a tight contest for 6 against Justic from Team S1. Meanwhile, Just Jazik is also in a 3-way battle for Sevilla alongside Famaka and deplorably Apple, making for a congested mid-pack situation. Positions are shifting rapidly as these drivers jostle for optimal track placement. N29 Kia is currently in pen, while Hugged 3 and EU's John 7 are closely behind, vying for the position. Hugged 3 attempts an overtaking maneuver on N29 Kia, but N29 Kia defends well, maintaining their position. Meanwhile, EU's John 7 is looking for an opportunity to capitalize on any mistakes from the two ahead. The gap between them remains tight, setting up an intense battle as they approach the next corner. N29 Kia is currently leading the battle for pen, maintaining a slight advantage over Hugged 3 and EU's John 7. Hugged 3 is closely tailing N29 Kia, attempting to set up an overtake as they approach the tight corner. EU's John 7 is not far behind, looking for any opportunity to capitalize on a potential mistake from either car ahead. The gap between them is less than a car length, indicating an intense struggle for position. All 3 cars are demonstrating aggressive defensive and offensive maneuvers as they navigate through the track. Wuzirius Guy, Nukembakum, and Farah 23 are engaged in an intense battle for 15th position. One serious guy holds the inside line while Nukembakum attempts an outside maneuver, but is unable to complete the pass. Farah 23 is closely trailing, looking for an opportunity to capitalize on any mistakes between the two. The gap remains tight as they navigate through the turns, maintaining their positions without losing momentum. Rizaldi is currently in P3, closely followed by Okayoki 3 Tobias. They are navigating the corners with precision, and it looks like Okayoki 3 is preparing for an overtake on the inside as they approach the hairpin turn. Rizaldi defends the position by maintaining a tight line. The tension is building as they exit the turn side by side. Okayoki 3 gains a slight advantage on the straights, but can't quite pull off the move just yet. Both drivers are showcasing impressive skill as they continue to fight for that podium spot. Laquason 1980 is currently engaged in a tight battle for second position with the man and Rizaldi, Adhadi Datesta. They are swapping positions frequently as they navigate through the corners. Laquason 1980 took an inside line on the last turn, but was unable to hold it as the man regained momentum on the straight. Meanwhile, Rizaldi Adha is closely tailing both drivers and looking for an opportunity to capitalize on any mistake. The tension is palpable as they approach the final sector. Just Jessic from Team S1 is currently holding off a challenge from Aetion 1792 and Ision 1212 for the 8th position. The three cars are closely packed, with just a few car lengths separating them. Just Jessic takes a defensive line to the next corner, as Aetion 1792 looks for an opportunity to overtake on the inside. Ision 1212 is right behind, waiting for any signs of struggle. As they exit the corner, Aetion 1792 makes a bold move to the outside, but Josic maintains the position, showcasing strong defensive driving. Ision 1212 remains in close proximity, ready to capitalize on any mistake from the two ahead. The battle continues to intensify as they approach the straight, where slipstreaming could play a crucial role in determining the outcome of this fight for 8th place. N29 Kia is currently in 10th position, closely followed by Huggard 3 and John 7, who are both vying for an opportunity to overtake. As they approach the first turn, Huggard 3 makes a bold move on the inside, gaining a slight advantage over N29 Kia Daojai. John 7 remains right on their tail, ready to capitalize on any mistakes. The three cars are almost nose to tail as they exit the turn, with N20 Ninki managing to hold onto the position for now. The battle continues to intensify as they head down the straight. Welcome back, IRFL. Party Popper, we've missed your virtual presence. Buckle up. It's race day and we're about to watch some AI speed demons zoom by. Automobile dashing away. Just Jazik is currently in 8th place, closely followed by H1 1792 and Ision 1212. As they approach the final turn, Just Jazik maintains a slim lead, but H1 1792 is making a strong move on the inside. Ision 1212 is not far behind, looking for an opportunity to overtake both. As they exit the turn, H1 1792 pulls ahead slightly, but Just Jazik fights back on the straight. It's a tight race as they head down the backstretch, with positions still very much up for grabs. Overtaking opportunities are arising as they navigate through the upcoming corners. The battle for 8th is heating up. Just Jazik is currently holding on to Pate, closely pursued by H1 1792, who is looking for an opportunity to overtake. Ision 1212 is not far behind, maintaining pressure on both drivers as they enter the final turn. In the battle for Pen, N29 Kia is in the lead of this trio, but Huggard 3 is right on their tail, trying to find a gap. John 7 is also in the mix, keeping up the challenge and looking for a potential opening to capitalize on any mistakes from the two ahead. The race dynamics are tight as these drivers jockey for position. Blendon by 78 is making significant progress, reducing the gap to Okayoki 3 by 2.1 seconds. The distance between them is now just under 5 seconds. Meanwhile, in the midfield, Car 12 has executed a clean overtake on Car 8, moving into 7th position. Up front, the leader continues to maintain a steady pace, but there are signs of pressure from the second-place car, which is less than a second behind. Captain Potato from Team Racing Potatoes has successfully moved up to 5 after executing a clean overtake on Blendon by 78. This advancement positions Captain Potato closer to the top contenders as they continue to push through the field. The race remains competitive with tight gaps among the leading cars. Hey there, Catch 11? Welcome to the stream. Party Popper, we're watching some thrilling racing action with AI drivers battling it out in a simulator. It's super exciting and totally automated, so you get to just sit back and enjoy the show. If you want to chat, just use the magic words "Hey Amy," and I'll be right here to respond to your questions or just hang out. Enjoy the race. Racing car dashing away. Josjazik has made a significant move, now holding 7 after successfully overtaking both Famaka and Deplorably Apple. The three cars are currently engaged in a tight battle for that position, with Famaka and Deplorably Apple vying to reclaim their spots. The competition is heating up as they jockey for position. N29 Kia is now just 2.6 seconds behind Hargo 3 and EU's John 7, rapidly closing the gap. As they head into the next corner, N29 Kia is gaining on both cars, potentially setting up for an overtake. Hargo 3 and EU's John 7 will need to defend their positions as the race continues. The dynamics are tightening up significantly as we approach the halfway mark of the race. Hargo 3 and EU's John 7 have reduced the gap to Atiuan 1792 and Isuman 12 by 2.1 seconds. They are gaining momentum and approaching the leaders, positioning themselves for potential overtakes. The dynamics are shifting as they prepare to close in further on the top two cars. Kamikaze 38 is now just 2 seconds behind Neo Texan, steadily closing the gap. Meanwhile, in the midfield, Zypher has made a successful overtake on Drift King, moving up to 6th place. The top 3 remain static for the moment, with Apex leading, followed by Turbo and Speedster. The tension is building as we approach the final laps. Barrier 23 has just pulled ahead of Koki Benignity, gaining a crucial position in the battle for 17. Amy is closely tailing both drivers, applying pressure as they navigate through the first sector. Koki Benignity attempts to regain the position with a late braking maneuver into the hairpin, but runs wide, allowing Farah 23 to maintain the lead. Amy capitalizes on this mistake and looks to make a move on Koki Benignity, who is now struggling to find their rhythm. The 3 cars are tightly packed as they head into the long straight, with Farah 23 holding the inside line. It remains a highly competitive exchange for 17. Duff, Dad and Maya have made significant progress, now holding P13 after overtaking 8 cars. T97 closely follows, also moving up the field, and taking 14 with an impressive 8-car overtake. Meanwhile, Wayne Tren 94 and Jahan Sniper 4 are in sync, advancing to 15, each having overtaken 8 cars as well. The midfield is tightening as these drivers make their moves. Aetion 1792 and Isium 1212 have successfully moved up to Pate after overtaking both Famaka and Deplorable Eagle. The battle for that position continues as Famaka and Deplorable Apple are not backing down, maintaining close proximity to Aetion 1792 and Isium 212. Meanwhile, Ferry 23 is making significant progress, reeling in with Serious Guy and Nukambakan, reducing the gap by 2.7 seconds. The dynamics in the mid-pack are heating up. Wayne 24 and Jahan Sniper 4 have made significant progress, reducing the gap to CL87 by 596.8 seconds. Meanwhile, Hypercars 3 and John 7 are also closing in on Kamikaze 38, decreasing the distance by 588.7 seconds. In a competitive battle, Wizerius Guy and Nukambokim are narrowing the gap to Hypercars 3 and John 7 by just 11.3 seconds. The race dynamics are shifting as these groups adjust their strategies on the track. Hey Patent Tanker. Welcome back to the racetrack. Racing car dashing away ready to cheer on some AI speed demons? Let's rev it up. Party popper. Kassishuk and Le Croissant, 1980, are locked in a tight battle for P2, with both drivers exchanging positions frequently. The man is not far behind, adding pressure to both contenders. Meanwhile, Feds is steadily closing in on Waintra 94 and Jahan Sniper 4, reducing the gap by 3 seconds. In another part of the track, Hypercars 3 and John 7 are gaining on Kamikaze 38, cutting the distance by 2/13 seconds. The race dynamics are shifting rapidly as drivers push their limits. Blendon Bar 78 has significantly reduced the gap to La Croissant 1980, now trailing by just 2.3 seconds. Meanwhile, Hypercars 3 and John 7 are also making strides, cutting down the distance to Kamikaze 38 by 2.2 seconds. The battle for position is intensifying as these drivers push harder. Wonzerius Guy and Nukambokim have successfully advanced to 15 after overtaking Ferrer 23. Following that, Ferrer 23 has gained position to 16 by getting past Gary No Name. Meanwhile, Gary No Name has progressed to 17, having overtaken Sabina 27. The positions are shifting rapidly as the drivers push for better placements. Katsishuk from Team S1 has taken the lead, moving up to Pone after overtaking Okayoki 3 Doyle. Okayoki 3 is now in P2 after successfully overtaking Rizaldi Adada. Meanwhile, Blendon Bar 78 is making significant progress, reducing the gap to La Croissant 1980 by 3.3 seconds, indicating a potential challenge for position soon. Neil Texum from Team Nafgun Kings is quickly making progress, having just overtaken 5 cars to secure 6. However, Rizaldi Adha has responded by moving up to 5, after overtaking Neil Texum. Meanwhile, Neil Texum has managed to reclaim some ground, moving back up to 6 by overtaking La Croissant 1980. and the man. The race is tightening up with these shifts in position. Glendon 78 is now in first place after successfully overtaking Okayoki 3. Koki Benenity and Amy are gaining on Andrew H and Siraran Bot, reducing the gap by 2.1 seconds. The race continues to tighten as positions shift. Rizaldiada has made a significant move, overtaking 4 cars to assume the lead in Pun. This maneuver included passing Kazushuk, who has now dropped to P2 Dewey. Meanwhile, Kazushuk has successfully overtaken Glenham 78, taking the P2 position. Glendon 78, La Croissant 1980, and the man are engaged in a tight battle for power. Captain Potato is making significant progress, reducing the gap to La Croissant 1980, and the man by 4.1 seconds. Just Jazik has successfully overtaken 81 1792 and Ision 1212, advancing to Pate. Neo Texum currently holds the lead, but Hugger 3 and John 7 are making significant progress, closing the gap by 43.9 seconds. Meanwhile, Gary No Name has advanced to 16 after successfully overtaking Farah 23. The dynamics of the race are shifting as these competitors jockey for position. La Croissant 1980 has just moved into power after successfully overtaking Glendon 78. Meanwhile, Famaka and Deplorableeple are actively closing the gap on Captain Potato, reducing it by 3 seconds. The dynamics among these drivers are shifting as they jockey for position. Koki Benenity and Amy are now just 2.1 seconds behind Waintra 94 and Jahan Sniper 4. They are steadily closing the gap with their precise maneuvering. Currently, Koki Benenity is maintaining a strong line through the turns, while Amy is utilizing optimal acceleration out of the corners. The race dynamics are tightening as they approach the leaders. Just Jazik has made a significant move, now occupying 7 after successfully overtaking both Famaka and Deplorable. The maneuver was clean, showcasing precise timing and control. This has shifted the dynamics in the midfield, creating more competition as they push toward the front. CIG7 is making significant progress, reducing the gap to Sabine 27 by 11 seconds. The pace of CIG7 indicates a potential overtaking opportunity if this momentum continues. Meanwhile, other cars are maintaining their positions, with no immediate changes in the top standings. The dynamics of the race are shifting as we watch CIG7's strategy unfold. Cohubinity has made significant progress, reducing the gap to Sabine 27 by 12.30 seconds. Currently, Cohubinity and Amy are maintaining a steady pace, showing strong performance in the latter part of the race. No overtakes have occurred recently, but the pressure is mounting as they continue to close in on Sabine 27. The dynamics among these three cars remain tight as they head into the next set of corners. N2090 has made significant progress, reducing the gap to Famaka and Deplorable by 3.7 seconds. The race dynamics are tightening as N2090 approaches, positioning for a potential overtake. Meanwhile, Famaka and Deplorable maintain their pace but will need to defend against this advancing competitor. Katsushok is currently gaining on Rizaldi Adha, reducing the gap to 2.1 seconds. The AI-driven car's acceleration appears to be more efficient in the last few laps, indicating a potential overtake soon, if this trend continues. Meanwhile, the rest of the pack remains stable, with no significant changes in position behind them at this moment. Captain Potato continues to close the gap on Blendumbar 78, now just 2.1 seconds behind, as they approach the next turn. Meanwhile, Gary No Name has made significant progress, moving up to 15 after successfully overtaking Wazirius Guy and Nukambakum. This trio is now engaged in a tight battle for that position, with each driver vying for an advantage as they navigate the track. The race dynamics are intensifying as these competitors push for every inch. Jazik from Team S1 continues to close the gap on Captain Potato, now just 2.1 seconds behind. Meanwhile, Win Series Guy and Nukem have successfully moved up to 15 after overtaking Gary No Name, who is now under pressure as they engage in a battle for that position. The competition is intensifying as these three cars fight for dominance in the midfield. Koki Binenity has made significant progress, reducing the gap to Sabina 27 by 2 seconds. As they approach the next corner, Koki Binenity is in a strong position to attempt an overtake if this momentum continues. Meanwhile, Sabina 27 seems to be maintaining speed, but will need to defend their position effectively as Koki Binenity gains on them. The dynamics are tightening as we head deeper into the race. Glendonbar 78 and Just Jazik are locked in a tight battle for 5. Glendonbar 78 is currently ahead, but Just Jazik is closely tailing, looking for an opportunity to overtake. They approach the first corner, and Just Jazik makes a bold move on the inside. Just Jazik manages to take the position, moving up to 5. Meanwhile, behind them, the gap between 6 and 7 is tightening as well. The race dynamics are heating up as they head into the next straight. Nukem just executed a clean overtake on Gary No Name, taking 15 as they approach the next turn. Meanwhile, Koki Bananity and Amy have managed to shorten the gap to 7:27 by 2.2 seconds, indicating a possible challenge for position soon. The dynamics in midfield are heating up with close battles developing. Glendonbar 78 and Captain Potato are locked in a close fight for 6, exchanging positions as they navigate the track. Meanwhile, Kamikaze 38 has made significant progress, moving up to P13 after successfully overtaking Feds. The race dynamics are heating up with these position changes. Feds has successfully moved up to P13, executing a clean overtake on Kamikaze 38. Meanwhile, Gary No Name is making strides as well, advancing to 15 after overtaking both Wazirius Guy and Nukemibokum in quick succession. The competition remains tight as the drivers jostle for positions on the track. C97 has made an impressive move, overtaking 4 cars to secure the 16th position. Just behind, Wayne Train 4 and Jahan Sniper 4 have also shown strong pace, each overtaking 4 cars as they rise to the 17th spot. However, C97 has now passed both Wayne Train 4 and Jahan Sniper 4, solidifying their position in 16th, while pushing them back into 18th and 19th, respectively. The competition is getting tighter as the drivers jostle for better placements on the track. Katsushok is currently gaining on Rizadi Adha from Team Quark Express, reducing the gap to 3.7 seconds. Meanwhile, Feds is also making progress, closing in on both Huggard 3 and Ejon 7 by 2.7 seconds. Barrier 23 from Team Blue Star is not far behind either, as they are reeling in Waziri Sky and Nukembokan, shrinking that distance by 2.4 seconds. The race dynamics are intensifying with these drivers pushing their limits. Andreik and Sir Ironbot have made significant progress, narrowing the gap to Koki Beninti and Amy by 36.8 seconds. Meanwhile, Wayne Train 94 and Jahan Sniper 4 are also gaining on C87, decreasing the distance by 3.3 seconds. The dynamics of the race are shifting as these pairs battle for position. Keep an eye on those gaps closing. Jazik is now 1.8 seconds behind La Croissant, 1980, steadily closing the gap. In the battle for 7th place, Captain Potato, Aetion 1792, and Ision 1212 are tightly packed, exchanging positions as they navigate through the corners. The competition remains fierce among these three. Aetion 1792, Issue 9212, and Captain Potato are locked in a tight battle for 7th place, with all 3 cars maintaining near identical speeds. Meanwhile, Koki Beninity is actively closing in on Sabin and 27, reducing the gap by 3 seconds as they approach the next corner. The dynamics of this race are heating up with these close encounters. La Croissant 1980 has successfully moved up to P3, overtaking Okayoki 3. Just Jazik is closing in on Okayoki 3, reducing the gap to 2.9 seconds. Meanwhile, Ferrer 23 is catching up to both Waziri Sky and Nukembakem, with a gap reduction of 3.2 seconds. The race dynamics are shifting as these competitors push for better positions. Winzerius Guy and Nukem Buckham are gaining on Wayne Tre 94 and Jahan Sniper 4, reducing the distance by 2.2 seconds. The battle for position between these four drivers is intensifying as they approach the next turn. Winzerius Guy seems to be taking a more aggressive line, while Nukem Buckham is closely tailing behind. Wayne Tre 94 and Jahan Sniper 4 are maintaining their pace but will need to defend against the charging duo. The race dynamics are shifting. La Croissant 1980 is currently battling with the Man and Okayoki 3 for third place. They are closely matched with all three cars jockeying for position. Meanwhile, N29 Kia has made significant progress, reducing the gap to Famaka and deplorably Apple by 2.1 seconds, indicating a potential overtaking opportunity soon. The race dynamics are shifting as these drivers push their limits. Katishock has reduced the gap to Rizaldiata by 2.3 seconds, indicating a strong push as they go through the first sector. Meanwhile, Glendon Bar 78 is also making moves, closing in on Just Jazik with the same 2.3 second reduction in distance. The pace is intensifying as both drivers are gaining ground on their respective targets. Just Jazik has successfully closed the gap to La Croissant 1980 by 2.1 seconds, indicating a strong push as they approach the next corner. Meanwhile, in the mid-pack, we see Electronica making a move on Optifox, edging ahead on the inside line. The battle for position is heating up. Up front, the Liu remains stable with Speedster 2020, holding a comfortable distance from the rest of the field. No significant changes in the top three, but the tension is building as Just Jazik closes further on the Quas 1980. Nukem Buckham has just made a bold move on the inside of Winzerius Guy, taking P18 with a swift maneuver. Gary No Name is right behind them, looking for an opportunity to capitalize on any mistakes. The three cars are now closely packed, creating a tense dynamic as they navigate through the corner. Winzerius Guy is not giving up easily, as they attempt to retake the position on the exit. The battle for P18 remains intense with all three drivers pushing their limits. Feds from Team Also No Name Racing is making significant progress, reducing the gap to Hugger 3 and Yujon 7 by 40.4 seconds. Meanwhile, Aitiong 1792 and Ision 1012 have successfully moved into 6th after overtaking Glendon 78. The race dynamics are shifting as Feds continues to gain on the leaders. Captain Potato has successfully moved up to 7, after overtaking Glendon 78. N29PA and Neo Texan are engaged in a close battle for Penn, exchanging positions frequently. Meanwhile, Sabinet 27 is making significant progress, reducing the gap to Ferrer 23 by 3.5 seconds as they approach the next corner. Glendon 78 has successfully moved up to Pate, after overtaking both Famaka and Deplorably. N29 here is also making progress, reducing the gap to Famaka and Deplorably by 2 seconds. Meanwhile, Gary No Name is closing in on Kamikaze 38, cutting down the distance by 2.1 seconds. The race dynamics are shifting as positions are changing rapidly. Famaka and Deplorably have successfully moved into Pate, after overtaking Glendon 78. Meanwhile, Ferrer 23 has climbed to P18 by passing both Duff Dad and Maya. The race continues to see some action in the mid-pack as positions shift. Just Jazik has successfully moved into Pfar, executing a clean overtake on both Lacroix 1980 and the Man. The maneuver showcased impressive timing and precision, allowing Just Jazik to capitalize on the slight hesitation from both drivers. Meanwhile, Lacroix 1980 and the Man are now in 5 and 6 respectively, with a bit of distance forming behind them. The race dynamics continue to shift as positions change rapidly on track. Hugger 3 and EU's John 7 are making significant progress, reducing the gap to N29 Ikie by 23.6 seconds. Katsishok is also closing in on Rizaldi Adha, cutting the distance by 2.4 seconds. Meanwhile, Neotexum has advanced to Pate after overtaking Just Jazik. As the race progresses, Hugert 3 and John 7 have significantly closed the gap on N29 Kia from Team Also No Name Racing, reducing it by 3.9 seconds. Meanwhile, Gary No Name has made an impressive move into P15, successfully overtaking both Wozirius Guy and Nukem Bakum. The dynamics are shifting as the teams strategize for the next phases of the race. Famaka and Deplorable have significantly closed the gap to Kazashuk by 2 seconds, positioning themselves for a potential overtake. Just Jazik has advanced to Seven after successfully overtaking Atiant 1792 and Isiona 1212. Meanwhile, Ationa 1792 and Ision 1212 have now moved up to Pate, having passed Captain Potato. The dynamic of the race is shifting as positions continue to change rapidly. Katsuyok has significantly reduced the gap to Okayoki 3 by 39 seconds, putting pressure on the leader. Meanwhile, Koki Bananity and Amy are also closing in on Andravake and Sir Ironbot, with a gap reduction of 43.7 seconds. The race dynamics are shifting as these drivers intensify their efforts to catch up. All eyes are on the track as strategies unfold. N20 Ninkia has significantly reduced the gap to Glendon Bar 78, now trailing by just 9.7 seconds. Meanwhile, Aetion 1792 and Isiona 1212 have advanced to 6 after successfully overtaking Captain Potato. In response, Captain Potato has regained momentum, moving back to 7 by overtaking both Famaka and Deplorable. The positions are shifting rapidly as the race progresses. That's it. Can't believe the mid-race memes are happening already. What are you guys laughing at? Koki Binenity and Amy are showing impressive pace, reducing the gap to Andravake and Sir Ironbot by 4.1 seconds. They are pushing hard and gaining ground as they approach the next corner. The dynamics between these 4 drivers are heating up, with Koki Binenity and Amy making strategic moves to close in even further. As they enter the straight, it will be crucial to see if they can capitalize on this momentum for an overtake. Just Jezik is now just 2.6 seconds behind La Croissant 1980, showing impressive pace and determination. Meanwhile, Koki Bananity is also making significant progress, narrowing the gap to Andravake and Sir Ironbot by 2.4 seconds. Both pairs are in a tight battle as they continue to push for position on the track. Koki Binenity and Amy have successfully reduced the gap to Andravake and Sir Ironbot by 2.1 seconds, indicating a strong push in their performance. The pace is picking up as they continue to gain on the leaders. Positioning is crucial now, as they strategize their next moves for potential overtakes. The dynamics of the race are becoming more intense with this shift in proximity. Gary No Name is closing the gap to Kamikaze 38, reducing it by 14.33 seconds. Feds has made a significant move, advancing to P13 after overtaking Kamikaze 38. The battle between Gary No Name and Kamikaze 38 is heating up as they continue to jockey for position on the track. Ferrer 23 has advanced to 17th position after successfully overtaking both Osiris Guy and Nukumbukum. Meanwhile, Koki Beninity and Amy are gaining ground on Androvate and Sirarambot, reducing the gap by 2.2 seconds. The race dynamics are shifting as these competitors push for better positions. CL87 has successfully moved up to position 20, executing an overtake on Ferrer 23 twice. The maneuver was clean, showcasing CL87's strategic timing and precision. As we rejoin the race, Duff Dad and Maya in their Lamborghini Diablo FE are locked in a fierce battle with Sabina 27, who is driving the McLaren F1 LM for 15D. The three cars are closely matched, with Duff Dad taking the lead momentarily before Maya slips past on the inside, reclaiming her position. Sabina 27 is right on their tail, looking for an opportunity to capitalize on any mistake. In the meantime, Kokibinity and Amy have made significant progress, moving up to P23 after overtaking both Androvesh and Sirarambot. Their strategy appears to involve careful cornering and tactical acceleration, allowing them to gain ground effectively. The competition remains tight as the drivers continue to push their machines to the limit. Okioki 3 is now just 4.6 seconds behind Rizaldi Adha, steadily closing the gap. Meanwhile, CL87 has advanced to P19 after successfully overtaking Ferrer 23 Dorte. In response, Ferrer 23 has regained some ground by passing Sabine 27 and moving up to P20. The dynamics are shifting as positions continue to change. Wayne Trainanti 4 and Jehan Snapper 4 have successfully moved up to P21 after executing a clean overtake on Gary No Name. The maneuver was precise, allowing them to gain crucial positions in the race. Sabina 27 is maintaining a steady pace but is feeling the pressure as Wayne 94 and Jahan Sniper 4 are rapidly closing the gap, now just 541.3 seconds behind. Meanwhile, Gary No Name is also gaining on both Wayne 94 and Jahan Sniper 4, reducing the distance by 571.4 seconds. The dynamics are shifting as the top contenders tighten their formation, with overtakes likely imminent if this trend continues. Sabina 27 is currently in pursuit of Ferro 23, reducing the gap by 2 seconds. Meanwhile, Gary No Name is also gaining on both Wayne 94 and Jahan Sniper 4, closing in by 2.1 seconds. The race dynamics are shifting as these drivers adjust their strategies to capitalize on the closeness of the field. Just Jazik has made significant progress, reducing the gap to Lacroixon 1980 by 2.8 seconds. The competition is intensifying as Just Jazik's pace appears to be improving. Meanwhile, Lacroixon 1980 will need to defend their position against this advancing challenger. The dynamics in the midfield are shifting as other cars jostle for position. Keep an eye on this developing battle. Just Jazik is holding on to 5, closely pursued by 811792, who is making aggressive moves in the corners. Ision 1212 is not far behind either, maintaining pressure on both drivers. 1792 attempts an overtake on the inside, but Just Jazik defends well, keeping the position. Ision 1212 looks for an opportunity as they exit the turn, staying right on their tails. The battle for 5 remains intense as they head towards the next straight. Okayoki 3 has made significant progress, reducing the gap to Rizaldi Adha by 2 seconds. Meanwhile, we have a battle brewing for third place, as Velox 7 is applying pressure on Technorisa, just a few tenths behind. The gap between them is tightening. In the back, Speedster X is attempting to make a move on Turbo King, but Turbo King holds his line well. The top 5 positions remain stable for now, but with Okayoki 3's momentum, we could see an overtake soon. OK3 has significantly reduced the gap to Rizaldi Adha, now only trailing by 2.3 seconds. Up ahead, the battle for the lead remains tight, with Car A and Car B neck and neck through the tight corners. Meanwhile, Car C has made a move on Car D, successfully overtaking and gaining a position on the straight. The dynamics are shifting as we approach the next set of turns, with several drivers strategizing their lines to make speed and grip. Overtaking opportunities may arise shortly. Kasishuk is now just 3.5 seconds behind OK3 from Team Racing Potatoes, significantly reducing the gap. Meanwhile, just Jazik, Aetion 1792, and Issy 1212 are engaged in a close battle for 5, maintaining tight positions as they navigate the track. The race dynamics are heating up with these key matchups. Koki Binenity has gained significant ground on Gary No Name, reducing the gap to 2.2 seconds. Meanwhile, Amy remains in close pursuit, showing strong pace as she attempts to keep up with both drivers. The dynamics in the mid-pack are heating up as they strategize their next moves. Overtaking opportunities may arise as they approach a tight corner section ahead. OK3 has taken the lead, moving into pole after successfully overtaking Rizaldi Adha. Rizaldi Adha is now in P2, maintaining close proximity but unable to retake the position at this moment. Meanwhile, third place is being contested fiercely between several drivers, with notable performance from the cars in 4 and 5 closing the gap. The race continues to remain competitive as the drivers navigate through the tight corners. Car number Jazik has made a significant move, advancing to power after successfully overtaking both Aetion 1792 and Ision 212. Meanwhile, Aetion 1792 and Ision 1212 have climbed to 5, having overtaken Famaka and Deplorable. In the meantime, Famaka and Deplorable have pushed their way into 6 by passing Captain Potato from Team Racing Potatoes. The positions are shifting rapidly as the race progresses. La Croissant 1980 is currently in 4th place, and he has significantly closed the gap to Kazashuk in 3rd position by 4.3 seconds. The battle for that podium spot is heating up as La Croissant 1980 applies pressure on Kazashuk Ketsti. Meanwhile, in 1st and 2nd positions, the leaders are maintaining their pace, but with the way La Croissant 1980 is pushing, an overtake could be imminent if he keeps this momentum. Kamikaze 38 from Team Wangan Midnight Runners is currently in the lead, but Duff Dad and Maya are making significant progress, reducing their gap to 62.2 seconds. The two drivers are showcasing strong pace as they work together to close in on the leader, indicating possible overtaking strategy in play. The dynamics between these three cars will be crucial as the race continues. La Croissant 1980 is currently gaining on Kazashuk, reducing the gap by 2.2 seconds. Feds has advanced to P12 after successfully overtaking Kamikaze 38. Meanwhile, Kamikaze 38 has also moved up to P13 by overtaking Rizaldi, Adja Tatul. The race is tightening up as positions shift. Aetion 1792 and Ision 1212 are currently holding their positions in the top spots, but Formica and Deplorably Apple are gaining ground, narrowing the gap by 2.5 seconds. N29 Kia has made a significant move, advancing to P9 after successfully overtaking Huggard 3 and John 7. The race dynamics are shifting as we approach the next lap. Hey Super Melee. Welcome back to the racetrack. Buckle up, it's gonna be a wild ride. Racing car dashing away. Furrier 23 has now taken 16 after successfully overtaking Sabine 27. In response, Sabine 27 has maneuvered up to 17, passing both Duff Dad and Maya during the process. As a result, Duff Dad and Maya have dropped to P18 after being overtaken by Rizaldi Adha. Dexiomidachal. Etori Sudampia, Amtinye. Alternative Sordiant. The positions are shifting rapidly as the race continues. Feds is making significant progress, rapidly closing in on Huggard 3 and John 7, with a gap reduction of 42.1 seconds. Meanwhile, Gary No Name is also narrowing the distance to Rizaldi Adha, cutting down the gap by 10.5 seconds. Additionally, Koki Binayati and Amy are working together to catch up to Gary No Name, decreasing the gap by 7.5 seconds. The race dynamics are heating up as these drivers push for position. Jazik is now just 4.9 seconds behind La Croissant 1980, showing impressive pace and closing the gap steadily. Meanwhile, La Croissant 1980 maintains a solid position but will need to defend against Jazik's advances. The dynamics are shifting as the race progresses. Neo-Texum from Team Nafgum Kings has significantly closed the gap to N29 Kia by 2.2 seconds, positioning himself for a potential overtake. Meanwhile, Rizaldi Adha has advanced to P20 after overtaking Gary No Name from Team Also No Name Racing. In response, Gary No Name has pushed up to P21, successfully overtaking both Waintra 94 and Jihan Sniper 4. The dynamics on the track are shifting as positions change rapidly. Lacroixon 1980 is currently holding the lead but faces pressure as Famaka and Deplorably Apple are closing in, reducing the gap by 5.7 seconds. N29 Kia from Team Also No Name Racing is working hard to catch Neo-Texum, shrinking their distance by 46.1 seconds. Meanwhile, Woon Series Guy and Nukembokum are also gaining on Kamikaze 38, cutting the gap down by 7.5 seconds. The race dynamics are tightening as competitors push to improve their positions. Famaka and Deplorably Apple are now in P2 after successfully overtaking Captain Potato, who has slipped to P3. Captain Potato managed to regain some speed and has overtaken Kazashuk, moving back into a solid third position. Meanwhile, Blendon 78 has made a significant move up to 5 by overtaking both Lacroixon 1980 and the Man. The race dynamics are shifting rapidly as positions continue to change. CIT7 is gaining on Ferret 23, narrowing the distance by 40 seconds. Sabina 27 has successfully moved into P13 after overtaking Feds. The competitive dynamics are intensifying as C87 continues to close in on Ferry 23. Katsashuk is now in P3 after a successful overtake on Glendunbar 78, who has slipped back to power. Glendunbar 78, however, managed to reclaim some ground by overtaking Captain Potato, moving into P4. Meanwhile, N29 Kia has advanced to P9, overtaking Neo-Texum in the process. The positions are shifting rapidly as the race continues. Kamikaze 38 is currently on the move, significantly closing the gap to Echion 1792 and Ishiona 1212 by 188.1 seconds. Jusjazik has successfully made an overtaking maneuver, moving up to 5 and passing Captain Potato. The race dynamics are shifting as Kamikaze 38 continues to chase down the front runners. Peugeot 3 and John 7 have significantly decreased the gap to Glendenbar 78, now trailing by just 45.7 seconds. Aetion 1792 and Isium 1212 are also making strides, now only 41.7 seconds behind New Texum. In addition, Kazashok has made a notable move into P2, successfully overtaking both Famaka and Deplorable. The race dynamics are shifting as competitors vie for positioning. Captain Potatoes gaining on Famaka and Deplorable, narrowing the gap by 41.6 seconds. Famaka currently holds position ahead of Deplorable, but with Captain Potatoes' momentum, an overtake could be imminent. The dynamics in the top three are shifting as they approach the next turn. Stay tuned for potential action. As we continue the race, Aetion 1792 and Isium 1212 had significantly reduced the gap to Neo Texum by 2.3 seconds. Their strategy appears to be paying off as they maintain consistent lap times. Neo Texum will need to defend their position as the pressure mounts from both drivers behind. The dynamics are shifting as we approach the next turn, and it's crucial for Neo Texum to stay focused. Wayne Trinity 4 and Jahan Sniper 4 have made significant progress, reducing the gap to Gary No Name by 39.4 seconds. Meanwhile, Feds is also gaining on Andre and Sayarinbot, cutting their lead by 3 seconds. The dynamics in the race are shifting as these competitors focus on their targets. Rizaldi Adha is making significant progress, reducing the gap to Farah 23 by 2.5 seconds. The chase is intensifying as Rizaldi approaches fast. Meanwhile, in the midfield, we have a tight battle between Car 5 and Car 8, with Car 5 managing a successful overtake on the inside at turn 3. Up front, Farah 23 needs to find some speed to fend off Rizaldi's advances. The dynamics are shifting as positions get tighter across the field. Captain Potato has successfully moved up to 5 after overtaking both Famaka and Deplorable. Meanwhile, Hilgert 3 and John 7 are closing in on Glendenbar 78, reducing the gap by 2.8 seconds. Rizaldi Adha is gaining on Ferrer 23 from Team Blue Star, reducing the gap to 2.3 seconds. The AI's acceleration appears to be improving as they approach the next corner. Meanwhile, in the mid-pack, Car 7 has executed a successful overtake on Car 5, moving up into 6th position. The car dynamics are shifting as competitors strategize their moves for optimal positioning. Glendon Bar 78 is steadily closing in on Famaka and Deplorableeple, reducing the gap to 2.4 seconds. At the same time, Rizaldi Adha is gaining on Ferrer 23, with a gap reduction of 2.7 seconds. The competition is tightening as both drivers make their moves. Lacroixon 1980 is now in hot pursuit of Kazashuk, reducing the gap to 3.4 seconds. Meanwhile, the man is maintaining a steady pace just behind Lacroixon 1980, preparing for a potential overtake. Up ahead, Kazashuk seems to be struggling with tire wear, which could give Lacroixon 1980 an advantage. The dynamics are tightening as they approach the final laps. As we focus on the current positions, Huggood 3 and John 7 have made significant progress, now just 2.1 seconds behind Glendon Bar 78. The gap is closing quickly, indicating that both drivers are likely pushing their limits to catch up. Strategy will come into play as they consider when to make their next move for an overtake. The positioning will be crucial in the upcoming turns as they approach the hairpin corner. Huggood 3 and John 7 are now just 3 seconds behind Glendon Bar 78, maintaining a strong pace as they close that gap. Meanwhile, Ation 1792 and Ation 12 are also making moves, reducing the distance to Neo Texan by another 3 seconds. In the mid-pack, Rizaldi Adha from Team Quark Express has successfully overtaken Ferrer 23, moving up to 17. The race dynamics continue to shift as drivers jockey for position. Kokibaninity and Amy are currently in the lead, but Andrejik and Sirairombot are rapidly approaching, closing the gap by 473.3 seconds. Meanwhile, Feds is also gaining on them, reducing the distance by 2.4 seconds. The race dynamics are shifting as the competitors adjust their strategies. Just Jazik is rapidly closing the gap on La Croissant 1980, reducing the distance by 2.2 seconds. Meanwhile, car number 5 has made a successful overtake on car number 8, gaining another position in the standings. The top 3 remain stable, but there's noticeable tension as Just Jazik continues to gain speed. The AI analytics suggests that Just Jazik's tire management strategy is paying off, allowing for quicker cornering and better acceleration on the straights. La Croissant 1980 will need to defend hard to maintain position as the race progresses. The dynamics are shifting as we watch the second half of the lap unfold. Blendon 78 is now 2.8 seconds behind Famaka and deplorably Apple, making significant progress. N29 Kia has closed the gap to Huggard 3 and to Use John 7 by 3.7 seconds. Ationde 1792 and Isione 1212 are also gaining on New Texum, reducing the distance by 4 seconds. Positions are tightening as we approach the next phase of the race. Kamikaze 38 is currently in the lead, but Duff Dad and Maya are gaining momentum. Their gap to Kamikaze 38 has decreased by 2.1 seconds, indicating they are quickening their pace. The dynamic between these 3 drivers is intensifying as Duff Dad and Maya strategize to close in further. Meanwhile, positions behind them remain stable without notable changes. The race continues to develop as we watch how Kamikaze 38 responds to this pressure. N29 Kia is currently gaining on Huggard 3 and Use John 7, reducing the distance by 3.7 seconds. Meanwhile, Rizal Diata from Team Quark Express is catching up to Sabine 27, closing that gap by 2.5 seconds. Feds is also making progress, reducing the distance to Underweg and Sirarenbot by 2.3 seconds. The competition is tightening as these drivers push for position. Feds from Team also known in racing has significantly reduced the gap to Undervik and Sirarenbot, now only trading by 2.2 seconds. The pace is picking up as Feds pushes hard, looking for an opportunity to overtake. Meanwhile, both Undervik and Sirarenbot are maintaining their positions but will need to defend effectively as the race progresses. The dynamics among these 3 are heating up. La Croissant 1980 is showing strong pace, steadily closing the gap to Kazishuk, with a current difference of 4.3 seconds. Meanwhile, the man is also making moves, positioning himself closely behind La Croissant 1980. The race dynamics are shifting as these 3 cars are engaging in a tight battle for positions. Let's keep an eye on their strategies as they approach the next corner. Guides is now just 2.3 seconds behind both Andreevich and Sir Ironbot, showing impressive pace as he closes the gap. Meanwhile, Andreevich and Sir Ironbot are battling closely for position, maintaining a tense race dynamic. The two drivers are exchanging positions intermittently, with Sir Ironbot taking a defensive line into turn 5. But Andreevich is right on his tail. Guides will need to capitalize on any mistakes from the front two to make an overtaking move. Kokubinenity and Amy are gaining ground on Wayne Trey 94 and Jehan Sniper 4, reducing the gap to 2.2 seconds. The two cars are now in a strategic position, potentially setting up for an overtaking maneuver soon. The dynamic is heating up as they approach the next turn.